Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Purple State Media. I got three stories I want to get into. The first one was kind of sad, man, but it's crazy world we're living in, so it's kind of ill what it is. A Bojangles manager kills the father of a daughter that worked at the Bojangles. Instead of communicating or contacting HR, she called her father. Her father came up to the Bojangles to confront the manager or whatnot, and it didn't turn out well, man. So let's get straight into it and see what's transpired or whatnot. It's crazy world we're living in, man. This happened in Atlanta, Georgia. This kind of where in the area where I'm at. So it's just on another side of town, but it's still, Metro Atlanta or whatnot. All the surrounding county, they still consider Atlanta or whatnot. But okay, check this out, y'all. Let's get into it.
Palmetto police have now identified the Bojangles employee accused of opening fire and killing a man in the parking lot. His name is Maurice Evans of Forest Park. So Evans is now charged with murder after a shooting this afternoon at the restaurant on Roosevelt Highway. 11 Alive's Galat Malame spoke with the victim's family about what led up to this shooting.
Police say this shooting began with an altercation, and relatives I spoke to say that man was coming here just to try and help his daughter.
This is a sad situation.
I'm like, what you gonna do to help your daughter? What you gonna beat the manager up? Then your daughter won't gonna have a job.
Be served.
Family mourning the loss of Dominique Goodman. They say he was shot and killed in this Bojangles parking lot Sunday afternoon. His relative, Marlene Lately, rushed to the restaurant on Roosevelt Highway.
My son called me and I didn't hesitate, jumped up and got ready and came out here.
She says Goodman came to the restaurant because his teenage daughter, who works there, called him asking for help.
I guess her and the manager might have got into it or something like that.
Did she have on a Michael Jackson glove?
Which any child would do. And the dad came up there to see about his daughter.
Lately says when Goodman arrived, the manager was waiting for him in the parking lot.
Now he's laying there on the ground and his family seeing him. It's sad. That's sad.
Palmetto police say they believe a Bojangles employee fired the shots and is now in custody. Officers responded to the shooting around 1:15 p.m., blocking off the area for more than 4 hours. A representative for Bojangles tells
crazy.
11 Alive News its hearts go out to the victim and all those impacted. Writing in part, the safety of our guests and team members is always our top priority. The franchisee is fully cooperating with local law enforcement as they conduct their investigation. Lately, pleading for an end to the violence.
I'm just telling everybody, put down these guns, start thinking.
That now has her family planning a funeral this holiday season.
It's terrible. Because here come Christmas, they waiting.
You got to look at it from both sides. What if the guy didn't have a gun? What was the father going to do? What if the father was kind of like out of his mind, like ready to crash out over his daughter not feeling well, or mad about whatever they had going on with the manager or whatnot. From what I understand, she said that the manager was picking on her. I don't know if this person never had a job before, but sometimes managers would just F with you for no reason whatsoever. Sometimes you just got to take it, to be honest with you. That's the way the world is. You just can't get mad and call your parents every time you have a disagreement about a job or at a job. That's not the way the world works. And I'm not justifying what the manager did, but at the same time, they kind of like, okay, the father coming up there to confront you. You don't know what the father gonna do now, because you can leave and come back tomorrow to go to work, and you ain't thinking about it. And the father just run up on you, and you don't know what he might do to you. So it kind of like escalated for no reason. The father should have never came out there. Really, he should have told the girl to quit or to leave and to come home or something like that, or to talk to HR. But the father just going up there to confront the manager about whatever is not the right way to do things or handle things or whatnot. That just don't make sense. That the wrong way to teach your daughters or your kids to anything. Something don't go where you think it should, or you feel like somebody disrespecting you. The first thing to do is call somebody to come confront them or beat them up or talk trash to them. In that case, your kids would never have a job, because that's a bad reputation to have. But anyway, let me move on to the next story. This was very sad, but we got more stuff going on. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Okay, next we got coming up in Netflix bid to buy Warner Brothers or whatnot. I don't know how I feel about this, but let's just get into it.
He probably got everything ready for him, and now you got to spend the holidays without your dad and their cousin. And
enough. Netflix make an $82 billion play for Warner Brothers. Warner Bros. Discovery announced that it would spin off its old cable networks, CNN, HGTV, the whole legacy bundle, into the
And y'all make sure y'all go show some love and support the Anton Daniel channel. I didn't feel like going and pretty much find the same video on it's not Snapchat, but what the other one called? Not Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, I didn't feel like going to TikTok to find it when he got it right here. I watch his stuff, so he automatically pop up in some of my stuff on my main screen on YouTube. So I decided to just go ahead and play it from here and give him a shout out while I'm doing it or whatnot. So ignore him. I'm gonna try not to play him speaking or whatnot. Y'all go to his page and see what he got to say about it. But I'm just like gonna play her part.
this separate company. And Netflix would swoop in to buy the part that actually matters, which is the Warner Bros. Film and TV studio, HBO Max, and the massive library behind them. It's mostly a cash deal, but the wild part is that if regulators do block it, Netflix will still owe Warner about $6 billion. The big question here is why now, and why such a big swing from a company that's historically not been that big on M&A? The main answer is that Netflix has global distribution and subscriber scale, but it doesn't necessarily have the same caliber of forever IP that fuels Disney and Warner. This deal would instantly give Netflix some of the most valuable.
And yeah, when she said IP, that stands for intellectual property or whatnot. That's like some of the characters and stuff that can last the test of time. Somebody like the Hulk, or Batman, that's no matter how young or old you are, those characters or whatnot, and you can always make a movie and people will watch it just because of the name recognition. So what she basically saying is Warner Brothers got some shows and some movies that have been around forever, and they will always be around. You can always just remake them or whatnot. I see they even got like Freddy Krueger on there. I didn't know they had Freddy Krueger, which is cool. About time they remake that. But I'm trying to think of a Netflix show that can pretty much stand the test of time, and I can't think of one, to be honest with you. Nothing but like what is Orange is the New Black? That's the only thing that stands out. And I never even watched it, but so many people talked about it or whatnot. They don't have anything like Game of Thrones or what HBO is so well known like that. Even though they got a lot of good shows, it's nothing that like so amazing that it can stand the test of time where young people and old people alike will recognize the name of a movie or show that was so good that everybody knows it. But anyway, let's see what else they got to say about it.
Franchises on Earth: Harry Potter, DC, Lord of the Rings, Dune, and the entire HBO catalog. If Netflix wants to dominate entertainment for the next decade, it needs some of that cultural gravity. This wasn't just an offensive play though. It was also defense because Netflix wasn't the only bidder. Paramount, Skydance, and Comcast both wanted Warner, and if either of them succeeded, it would have created a very real competitor to Netflix. Another company with elite IP, a strong theatrical machine, and a streaming strategy. And so this is where the breakup fee becomes pretty strategic. Even if regulators come in and kill the merger, Netflix is basically tying up Warner for a year or two, which keeps Paramount or Comcast from buying them. And in that sense, the $6 billion check is almost like an anti-rival tax. It's expensive, but worth it if it preserves Netflix's lead. On Warner's side, it makes sense to sell because the company has been through a pretty brutal run of mergers.
So basically what she's saying there, if Netflix do not go through with the deal, if they back out of the deal or the deal don't go through, they still will owe, I think, Warner Brothers did she say million or billion? But either way, it's like a pocket change to Netflix. And from what I understand is that's enough. They don't care. They would throw away that $6 million or $1 billion just to keep anybody else from getting that catalog at the time, and they're worth it because it'll make sure they stay in the lead of everyone else. Because nobody else get the catalog, they can't get it to compete with them because Netflix still be dominating, So that's business, man. That's how you doing business. So you got to stay in the lead.
AOL, AT&T, Discovery. Each of these add more depth and more complexity, and they're basically stretched right now between declining cable networks and a very competitive streaming market. By selling their studio and streaming assets to Netflix, it's a clean way for them to reset, pay down their debt, simplify their business, and give their assets to a buyer with the capital to actually grow them. And it also doesn't hurt that their CEO, David Zaslav, reportedly stands to make hundreds of millions if this deal closes, and he's far.
And I think that it will close. And one of the reasons that I think is
Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, my apologies. About time for a commercial to play. I still haven't switched to the YouTube Premium yet, but whatever. Let's get to the third thing I wanted to show y'all about the AI stock, or the AI shock that's coming or whatnot. And AI stocks, man, they booming everywhere. Some of them might have been pointed to AI. I'm kind of concerned at the same time because much money being dumped into it. I don't know. Something got to change. They can't keep dumping this much money into AI. I hope it don't be like the dot-com bubble or whatnot, but who knows? So all right, let's get to it.
Jamie, what's your sense of jobs? Because here I think there's a little more nuance to the story. It's not just about the macro story. Now you've got to look at artificial intelligence and the fact that AI is creating efficiencies to the extent that it is cutting jobs. What is your plan to ensure that Americans are ready for this new revolution that's underway with AI?
Yeah. So I think before you do AI, jobs have gotten a little weaker, wages have gotten a little weaker, and when you talk to businesses, they're going to be a little more cautious hiring. That's not because of AI. That's just because they want to do more with less, and they look at their order books, et cetera. And look, I don't think AI is going to dramatically reduce jobs like unbelievably next year. I think AI is real. We've been doing it since 2012. We have 2,000 people doing it, 500 use cases. We have large language models inside the company that we're using our own documents, our own processing and stuff like that. We use it for risk, fraud, marketing, design, note-taking, idea generation, error management. Agents are coming. And for the most part, AI is going to do great stuff for mankind, like tractors did, like fertilizers did, like vaccines did. It'll save lives. We'll be working maybe one day we'll be working less hard, but having wonderful lives. So it'll cure a lot of cancers. It'll have composite materials. Now, of course, it needs to be properly regulated. There are downsides to AI, just like there are to airplanes, pharmaceuticals, cars. All things get used by bad people. So assuming that the government figured out some way to put guardrails around AI.
Imagine being able to build anything.
So basically, yeah, you need to be able to regulate AI or whatnot. So, and I don't know what we're going to do because the government is not ready. You got a bunch of older guys in there that have no clue what's going on with AI. You got to get some young people in here that really understand how to use this stuff or whatnot. Cause how you gonna regulate something you don't understand? And I seriously thought most of the guys and girls in politics now can't understand the significance of AI.
I have plenty of jobs. And if it does happen too fast for society, which is possible, we can't assimilate all those people that quickly. Like if you look at, what happened in farms and the internet and electricity, it took a while. This may be a little bit longer, and it'll be a little harder to assimilate people. If we can't, we government and we the companies, society should look at how do we phase it in a way that we don't damage a lot of people. Like we should have done a little bit more on trade assistance years ago when you had a town that got damaged by the closure of a plant. And that you can do. You can, retrain people, relocate people, income assistance, early retirement. And the next job may be a better job, but they have to learn how to do the job. And as you know, skills are, you can earn quite a bit of money with skills. And so, and then companies like us, we've been doing this a long time. We have what we call redeployment programs. We lose people because we close down. We go in, we look at a process. We go from 1,000 people to 400 people in a process. And almost always the 600 people get offered other jobs. They've got skills we like. They want to go. They could go and try other things. So I'm not afraid of it. We just maybe you're right. We should get ahead of it and maybe have some programs in place that can handle this if it starts happening.
Long story short, I'm just going to end it right there. AI not going anywhere. You better learn how to use it or get replaced by it. That's what I always say. So I'm always using different version of AI that for different things. You know, you got regular your Chat GPT, your Perplexity, your what the name of the other one? Is it Claude? I think it's called Claude or something like that. You got Gemini, you know, Google's Gemini or whatnot. I don't think Apple even have one. And Amazon, I'm pretty sure they got one, but I do not know the name of it. It's not one of the most popular ones right now. You got Grok, which is by the Twitter dude, or X dude, Elon Musk, that who pretty much developing Grok or whatnot. So I just say download it and start using them, man. A lot of them are free for basic services or whatnot. I don't subscribe to 2 of them so far. Well, 3 of them. I also do one of the music apps called Suno, which make awesome music, man. So yeah, pretty much just download and start using it and get familiar with prompting or telling it how to do things or how you want things to be done. You know, it's amazing. So, and like I said, you learn how to use it or get replaced by it. It's not going away. It's not going to change. Well, it's going to change. It's going to advance and get better. You know what I'm saying? Then eventually they're going to put the AI into robots, and then we all in trouble. But for real. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. So thanks for watching another episode of Purple State Media. I'll check y'all later. Stay safe.